This is Mike Tyson. You listen to the XY show, and I think you'll enjoy it. It's going to be ecstatic.
The opinions expressed on the X and Y show are the sole opinions of the host. Please note, there is no intentional desire to offend any member of the listening audience. With that said, if you still feel offended, tough shit.
It's time for the X and Y show. With your host, Mr. Roosevelt. He talks about man topics, lady topics, and relationships. He talks about love, sex, and infidelities. He even gives good tips. There is no other show that compares to the X and Y show.
Oh yeah, sit back, take your clothes off, and relax. It's time for the X and Y show, where real relationship issues are talked about and addressed. The only place on the planet that tackles the topics that everyone wants to talk about, but no one is brave enough to address. Nothing escapes X and Y, baby. Now, here's your host, Rosevelt Colbert.
And greetings, great teens. Welcome to another segment of the X and Y show, and I'm your host, Rosevelt. Well, I was supposed to release a couple episodes last week, but if you've been following Florida's weather, we had a hurricane that was forming down near Central America. And at first, the shit was going to come. It's going to be a major hurricane. You see, you guys think I be bullshitting when I be talking about hurricanes and stuff. This shit is for real. I had a coworker that moved from Chicago. She took the position. I think she was from Chicago. But anyway, and we had the two hurricanes back to back. You remember that? I talked about that a couple of weeks ago. So she evacuated, right? She went through the first hurricane. The second one came. She evacuated. She told everybody. I think I already talked about this, but anyway, she told everybody, okay, I'll see you a couple of days. And then she called back and said, no, I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. And I'm not mad at her. This shit is not normal for somebody to go through. You know, for you to go through some shit like this every year, you're insane. I see these people who lost their homes or water was in their homes above their heads and they just gut the house and build it back. And, you know, you're going to go through that shit again eventually. You might skip 1, 2, maybe 3 years, but eventually the shit going to happen again. So I'm sorry, if you live in Florida, your ass is insane. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Y'all think I'm... But anyway, it was another hurricane out there, and I was very worried. I thought I was going to have to go home today and put up my parents' stuff again, you know, because they said it was going to hit here by Wednesday, and so I thought I was going to have to go home. And then it took a sharp... I was like, damn, this is November. Usually by October, those hurricanes are gone because the water's cooler and we had cold fronts coming to kind of kill that kind of stuff. But the water is still warm this time of year, global warming, or longer than usual. So, you know, we still had a hurricane looming down there in Central America. So it was supposed to come up and really fuck up Florida for all the early models. But what happened, it interacted with Central America and the Yucatan, and so the land interaction killed it. So now it's just a low, you know, a bunch of rain. So, you know, the threat is gone, but that's why I didn't release those episodes, because I was I was freaking out again. I was like, you know, because you're not, you know, everybody right now in the holiday mode and, you know, putting up Christmas shit and getting ready for Thanksgiving, then prelude into Christmas. You know, we're in the bird months, baby. worry about no damn hurricane. So that fucked everybody up, you know. No, it fucked me up. So it really pressed the gas on convincing myself that I really have to get the fuck out of here. This is ridiculous. Going through this shit every year. Florida is not what it cracked up to be, folks. I'm telling you, it is not. It is not. A lot of people say, "Oh, you just talking. This Florida's beautiful." I mean, how long can you go to the beach? How long can you lay your ass on the beach? You're gonna move to a state that is Anyway, I'm getting the fuck out of you. You motherfuckers can have Florida. I'm getting out of here. And I'm not gonna look back. If it weren't for my mom, who's still here, I would never come out to this motherfucker. My brother and sister, you better get on a plane and come see me. Because if it weren't for my mom, you know, when I leave, I would never come out to this bitch. I hate this state. From the time when I was little, I always hated Miami, and you know, and Florida and all this shit. You know, so anyway, I done vented enough. All right, so this is part 2 of some questions that I had from some listeners. A few questions. I didn't finish the last time, so I said that I would finish on the second part 2, and that's what I'm doing. So that's what this is, the second part of my question session. All right. So this is from Rachel. Rachel says, my husband chose to work for our 30th anniversary day. I took vacation, but he backed out at the last minute and decided to work. Is that messed up or am I overreacting? Rachel, absolutely not. You are not overreacting. That's fucked up. Unfortunately, you know, when I've seen throughout my years, the longer a couple is married or together, sometimes it's easy for one of those members, it's not always the man, it's the woman sometimes as well. But it's easier for one member of the relationship, whether it be a relationship or marriage, to start taking the other one for granted. To be married for 1 year is a feat nowadays. 5 years, 10 years. But if you've been married 30 years, that's something you celebrate. You put everything on hold, and you tell your work or whatever, hey, I got my 30th anniversary. I'm taking off. I will see you guys later. I got to celebrate with my wife, or I got to celebrate with my husband. So yeah, Rachel, your husband fucked up. He put his job before you. And that's really unacceptable. You know, that should never happen. And a lot of people, when that kind of thing happens, Rachel didn't mention any of her emotions or anything, but I guarantee you she was hurt from it. And she might have not told him, you know, he probably asked her, and do you mind? She say, no, I don't mind. But she did. Because I know I would. And, I would expect for something like that, where you spend your 30 years together, that's important. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, well, he can always celebrate it the next week. Yeah, but that ain't the same. You can always work the next week. Shit, the job is not going nowhere. That's not the same. You know, pushing your shit off for your job. I don't know why people do or sacrifice so much for their job when a lot of jobs will fire your ass before the sun rise, or They'll fire you before you sweat at night. I mean, meaning that they have no, they'll fire you quickly and won't worry about it. And so many people are so loyal to their jobs, and the jobs are not loyal to them. They don't give a fuck about you. They'll fire your ass to save $2 on the bottom line. So I don't know why a lot of people are so loyal to their jobs. I learned a long time ago, job, yeah, it pays me, but I'm not putting it above my life and my family, because they don't give a fuck about me. You know, they'll fire my ass in a minute for bullshit. You know, oh, we got to cut back $1,000, so gotta let you go. Sorry. So anyway, Rachel, yeah, that's fucked up. I would have never done that to my wife. If it was our 30th anniversary, I would have made a big thing out of it. And a lot of you are saying, well, Rosevelt, everybody not the same. Well, okay, I understand that. You don't have to make a big thing out of it, but at least acknowledge defeat, right? And acknowledge the big accomplishment of 30 years of marriage. That's major. See, a lot of you ignorant motherfuckers out there who's listening don't see how significant that is, because you've been divorced. You haven't been married for 30 years, and a lot of you motherfuckers been divorced more than twice. So you don't see the significance of being married or together that long. That's a feat. That's a awesome level to get at within a marriage. 30 years. 20 years is good. 10 years is good. 30, that's 3 decades. And that's something that should be celebrated. That's not light, So Rachel, yeah, your dude fucked up. I hope he made it up to you, but it sounds like he probably won't. But I don't know, because you didn't elaborate too much in your letter. But hopefully you're listening to this, and you make him do something for you guys 30th. That's something that needs to be celebrated, and that shouldn't be taken lightly. All right. It's funny, another thing, a lot of guys who are single now wish they had a wife for 30 years or 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, a year, someone to celebrate their love with. And, you got these silly motherfuckers walking around who've been married for 30 years and doing dumb shit like that. So, just take it for granted. A lot of guys take for granted. A lot of women take for granted too. So it's both sides. But people start taking each other for granted. And that's a big problem in marriages these days. When one side started taking the other side for granted. And that's a lot of cause of divorces nowadays. All right. Next one. From Dylan. Dylan says, I've been dating my girlfriend for over 5 years, and she's pressuring me for marriage. Should I dump her? Well, Dylan, yes. If you're not going to marry the woman, you should dump her. Stop wasting her time. You motherfuckers like you are the reason why it makes a lot of guys look bad. Because women think all guys are like you. And, that's not the case. You should make it, obviously you can make it clear to her that you had no intentions of being married. Because if you ever married her after 5 years, you have no intentions of, getting married. That's something you should have been honest and upfront when told her that, look, I'm just kicking it. I'm never getting married. And then it'd have been on her, because you already up front and you told her this. But it doesn't sound like you did. It sounds like you, left it, open to where, you don't really have to say nothing. You just getting free milk. And your girlfriend's a pussy cow. That's from another previous episode. I think it's 11. Check it out. Or 13. Where basically a woman is with a guy, wasting all her youth, giving all that free pussy, away, all that free milk to a motherfucker who's never going to marry. That sounds like you, Dylan. You sound like a cowboy, and your girlfriend sounds like a pussy cow, giving you all that free pussy for nothing. So I think we need to stop doing that. If you're not going to marry her, I don't know how old she is. I don't know how old you are. But if you're, especially if you're older, like in your mid 30s, late 30s and up, if you're not going to marry her, tell her you'll never marry. You're not looking to marry anyone. Let her go. Because it sounds like she wants to get married. And she wasting time, precious time, with your ass, then it's not a good thing. She look around, you already been dating for 5 years. She look around, another 5 have gone. This 10 years she wasted with your ass. And you don't intend on marrying her. So yes, you should dump her. If you don't want to marry her, let her go. Let her go. It'll be hard at first on her. But it's in the long run, it'll be better because she won't be waiting around for something that's not going to happen. So be upfront with her. Be honest. Let her go. You don't want to marry. That's fine. And you don't want to get married. You've been courting for 5 years. I know a lot of you are saying, "Oh, Rosevelt, that's not true. We dated for 10 years and we got married." Well, good for you. It's always motherfuckers always talking shit. It's always exceptions to the rule. If you don't get married after 5 years, I would say the chances of you getting married is slim and nil. You can marry someone after the first year. It shouldn't take that long, especially if you're older, mid 30s, late 30s and up. It shouldn't take that long. It don't take no fucking 5 years. So after 5 years, if you haven't gotten married, let her go. Let her go. Let her start the process of breaking up and getting over you and finding someone that actually wants to get married like she does. All right. Next one from Carol. Carol says, "Why is it so hard to find the right mate? All I want is someone making 6 figures, really good shape, 6'5", and loves to eat pussy. What is wrong with men? And I am 42, and I'm having this problem. What is wrong with men?" Well, that's interesting. Carol, I think the problem is not men, it's your ass. Your crazy, silly ass. See, you've answered the question in your question. You say, "What's wrong, man? All you're looking for, why can't you find the perfect mate?" You know why? Because you're looking for, now you're 42. You're 42, so you're way beyond your prime. Yet you're still looking for someone who's making 6 figures. You're looking for someone who's in great shape. And you're looking for someone who's 6'5". You have cut out probably 95% of the pool of eligible men that you can date and perhaps get married and start a life with. You have cut out 95 or more % of the men because you're looking for someone who's making 6 figures. A lot of men are not making 6 figures. I don't know where you women get that shit from. Where do you get that shit from? Back in the day, women, if the guy was breathing, they work with you. They work with you, and educated. I know a lot of women in my neighborhood where I grew up in that were teachers. I know, that were educated women, and their husbands were custodians and painters and electricians, blue collar workers, and they still got with them and had families and had a nice life. I don't know where you fucking women get that shit from, that a man should be making 6 figures. It's nice, but everybody don't make that shit. Everybody don't make 6 figures. And why would you diminish your chances with a man just because he's not making 6 figures? You don't know what he's going to do in the future. He could write a book. He could run his own plumbing company. He could be a plumber and open up plumbing franchises, and then he'd be making well over six figures. You don't know what the future is. And if you get together with a right guy who can handle his money, you don't need six figures. All you need is someone who is willing to work for you, work for the family, and is a good provider. And you two can handle that shit. You don't need someone making six figures. It's so many women today that are single because they're looking for a man that are making six figures. Six figures. They're looking, especially black women. I hate to single the sisters out like that. And I know a lot of you don't like that shit, but I don't give a fuck. That's the truth. That's the truth. And I'm not saying that white women don't and Hispanic women don't and all, they do as well. You always have exceptions to the rule. You always have silly motherfuckers in every race. But for the most part, a lot of sisters, I mean, that's a definite requirement. You gotta make six figures to even date them. And a lot of guys do not make six figures. A lot of good men don't make six figures. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to ever happen. Because of the occupations they're in and because of the education level, whatever the case may be, they'll never see six figures, but they're good with their money. They're good budgeting. They're good providers, and they're good at treating the women with love and being a good father figure if given a chance. But they don't get the chance because they're not making six figures. I know a lot of guys making six figures who are assholes. Straight up. I've told some of them, I said, man, you're an asshole. Did she take that shit from you? Oh, yeah. Because they know that women base, if they're a good man or not, if they're making six figures, or what kind of car they driving, or what watch they wearing, and what color they shoes, and all this other bullshit. Women are looking for the wrong things, including you, Carol. So that's your first problem. You said that you're looking for you say all you want is someone who's making six figures. That's something small. That's very hard to find. That's going to be damn near impossible to find a man that's making six figures. So that's your first mistake. You cut out a lot of eligible bachelors just by saying that, requiring them to make six figures. I don't know where you women get that shit from. And then you say you want them in really good shape. Now, you're 42. I don't know how good a shape you in. Maybe you can send me a picture, but I don't give a fuck if you fine as, grease. I mean, you got a six pack. You can't expect the man that is around your age to be in tip top shape. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's very possible. A lot of guys still run and work out and shit, but a lot of guys don't. At that age, you're 42, so you're looking for someone who's 42, 40, 45, around that age, 50. They might not have a six pack anymore. They might have a one pack. They just not in the shape that they were when they were in high school and college. So that's something you just have to accept. That's just something you have to accept, baby. You might not meet someone your age who's in tip-top shape. That's going to be very difficult to find. And I'm going to tell you something. This is on another tangent. Guys your age probably don't even want you anyway. Now, I'm going to say that again. Let me back up, hit rewind. Guys your age, if you're single, they don't want you anyway, Carol. No matter how fine you are or what kind of money you making and how big your titties, whatever the case may be, they don't want you anyway. A lot of guys that age probably divorced and they're looking for earlier models or later models, I should say. So they're looking for someone who that was born in the 80s, not to the 70s. So they don't want your ass anyway. So the pool is already, I say that to say this, The pool's already small with guys who are your age, who you're looking for to get married, and you're diminishing it even further by requiring all this bullshit, talking about you want a guy to make six figures and who's in good shape. And then you round it off with a guy that's at least 6'5". Carol, you have to change. That's why you're not being a good man. Because you requiring all this bullshit out front, and you cutting out a lot of eligible good men from you even having a chance at, because you cutting away with all this bullshit, requiring them six figures, requiring them to be in good shape, 6'5". Come on, man. You have to be realistic. Realistic. You have to be realistic. You can't expect a man your age, that's around your age, to have all this bullshit you talking. I guarantee you, if you require a man, if you forget about the six-figure stuff, just say a steady job. That's all you need. Just say a steady job. Average height. Forget about that 6'5" shit. Average height. Oh shit, even short. At this point in your life, you should be willing to get with a short motherfucker. You women have just too much shit that you look at, and you disqualify so many good men. Then you complain that there's no good men when you passing many of the good men every day, but you don't see them because they're too short. They're not making the money that you think they should be making. They're not in good enough shape. And you passing up all these good opportunities to be happy. But you're miserable because you requiring men to have all this bullshit that don't matter. Carol, ease up. Throw that six-figure shit out. Throw the height out. And throw the good shape out. Throw all that bullshit out. Just be open to meeting a good guy who's at a steady job. He's good height, average height or whatever. Maybe he's shorter than normal, and maybe he's, a little chubby or whatever. He doesn't have to be in great shape, and see how that works out for you. I guarantee you that you'll be surprised how, quickly when you throw all that bullshit out, how you all of a sudden will gravitate towards good men. All right. Hope I answered your question, Carol. And send me a picture of you. I want to see how you look and see. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Paul. The next one from Paul. I'm a black male in my late 40s. I come to the conclusion that the sisters are crazy. My family is against me dating another race. What should I do? Well, Paul, if you're in your 40s, I would recommend, sometimes families are good in a lot of ways, but sometimes families are bad in a lot of ways. I know a lot of pretty women who are teachers or people that I knew at my church or whatever. And when they were younger in their prime, they were very beautiful, very fine, very sexy, you name it. They were some of the most beautiful women on this planet. But for a lot of reasons, they were looking for guys with six figures or 6'5" or whatever the case may be. Or, a lot of them, that's, for example, they just say they're Italian. And a lot of them maybe like a brother, or maybe like the Asian dude or Hispanic dude or whatever. So, like I know in Miami, back when I was little, it's a melting pot. You had Italians and Irishmen or whatever, but it's not like New York, right? Or New York have Little Italy and Little, what's another one? Little Ireland and all this other shit, where there's a whole community of Italian Americans. So I say that to say this: the chances are you meeting an Italian guy probably wasn't good, right? So a lot of those earlier families, Italian, but it could be any family, white, black. So they're very strict. They're very strict, and they didn't want their kids dating outside of their race. They were old school. So if you go to a black school, a black family, they wanted their daughters and sons to marry a black woman or black man. Same with Italians. They wanted their daughters to bring home an Italian guy, right? Same with white men, the white families. They wanted their daughters to bring home a white guy and vice versa. So it wasn't a lot of, you had some, but it was very difficult to date outside of your race because a lot of families didn't go for that shit. If you've seen the movie Jungle Fever, just watch that shit, and that's what I'm talking about. But what the fuck was I saying? Okay, so I know a lot of pretty women who were beautiful, and they didn't have, for example, I know one that was Italian, and there wasn't many Italian men, but she couldn't take a non-Italian man to her home to meet dad and mom. So as a result, now the years pass and they pass. Now she's old and she's alone, and I know a lot of women like that who actually dug other guys, but they know they couldn't take those guys home to mom and dad. And, they look around, they're old maids now. And they're miserable. And they're lonely. And that's, sometimes you have to live for yourself. I really hate to say that because everyone wants their family to like their wife or their family to like their husband, So it's a bad situation when you're married to someone and your family don't like them. That's a bad situation. Especially for some bullshit like color, the skin. But sometimes you have to live for you. If you fall in love with someone and they're from a different race, then you would hope your family get on board. But if they don't, I hate to say it like this, but fuck them. Because what's going to happen, you're going to grow up one day. And when I say grow up, you're going to get older one day. You're going to be old. And then you can't get anyone. You can't get anyone anymore. And then you're going to be old and you're going to be alone. And your family going to be gone. Your dad going to be passed on. Your mom going to be passed on. Your sister's going to be old as hell. Your brothers, if you have them, they're going to be old. If you're the only child, you'll be by yourself. So they're going to be gone and you're going to be alone because you listen to your family. So I don't think no one should ever do that. It's one thing, you hope your family is on board with who you choose to have a relationship and to marry. But if they're not on board, fuck them. Because you don't want to have to live with them. So you don't want a situation where you look around and you're old. Now you can't get anyone. And your mom gone, your dad gone, everybody's gone, and you're there by yourself. No kids. So, Paul, I would recommend that if you are dating a woman and you're in your 40s already, you look around, you be in your 60s. So if you're in your 40s and you're digging a woman that's in another race and your family not digging her, well, you have to make a decision. I hate to say it again, but as far as your family go, fuck them. That's you. You don't want to be in a situation where 20 years from now, when you are in your 60s or your 70s, and you're looking around and that girl who you that you refuse to go and have a relationship with because of your family. Now your family's gone. Your dad passed on, your mom passed on, your sisters and brothers, if you have any, they're old. Now you old, you can't get anyone now, and you're all alone, you have no kids, and now what? You'll be wishing like, damn, I should have got with her. I should have got with Trisha 30 years ago. I should have got with her. That's what you'll be thinking. So to answer your question, Paul, yes, I think you should go ahead and date that woman and marry her if you love her. Hopefully your family get on board. If they don't, fuck them. It's your life. All right. Next one. Angela. You know what? I'm going to say these for the next episode. I'm going to say these because these are pretty good. I'm going to say these for the next episode. All right. So that's it for tonight. That's part 2 of the answer questions. And the next one will be a regular episode where I'm going to be talking about something within relationships or marriages. I haven't decided what the topic is going to be yet, but it will come out regular time this Friday. And I might release 2 depending on how I feel, kind of to catch up a little bit from all this hurricane shit. But that is it. Check me out. Any episodes that you may have missed. I'm also on social media. I'm on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook. What's that other one? Tweets. What's the other one? Damn. I can't think of the name of it. Oh man, it's new, but it's not. Leads. I don't know. Fucking. I'm on a lot of social media. So just check me out. Old episodes that you may have missed. You can find everything on my website, which is www.thexyshow.com. You can find everything there as well as my social media and my older episodes, and a store is coming soon as well with the Christmas shirts for X and Y. So be sure to buy one. And I will see you on Friday. And I want you all to remember that you cannot have love without X and Y. Later.
You've been listening to The X and Y Show with your host, Rosevelt Colbert, the place where real relationship issues are talked about and addressed. Join us next time. You can now put your clothes back on. Or not.